So this time last year, I made a video, a vlog of me in the south of France, and we're doing around 20 to 50k a month. Now we do around 160 per month. Let me back out the fan bases because you guys won't buy shit anymore. Yeah, so 126. We got a bid in Stripe for seconds of the second, 38.6 plus that. So it's around 165. That's what we're doing on a monthly basis. I believe we are the biggest real estate lead gen at the moment. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. So when I was at 75k a month, this is October, November time, this was fucking hard yards. You can see me doing the snuzz there. I'm not well, bro. I was working 1 till 11, right? I was massing gym, I was bulking, I was getting emails like this all fucking day, right? Where I'm asking for refunds. It caused me to have some bad habits, right? I got one day off, I think it was a national holiday in November. I was completely knackered. Here's me smoking something. I did a holiday to Thailand in December just to kind of get rid of that. Now, what are we doing now differently? Now we're at 160 per month, right? We've also got other in-screen, fucking sources of income, which takes our income to around 180. We did that in June, but look, we're still having fun. Except we're drinking the Moe now. We are drinking that Moe. I've got my Versace gown. I've got a new watch, new Rolex, if you can see that, which is great. Going to buy another one, but I'm going to wait till the end of the month for that. This was just this is a special day for me. It's a Datejust Jubilee bracelet. But we're living the life. I got my Versace gown with cash embroidered in the back of it. Let's fucking go. Interesting perspective. So I've been on loads of holidays. I went to Palma, Vegas, Florida, and then this is me recently in the south of France. Okay, and we were there with a couple other agency owners, a little bit smaller, a couple doing, I think it was one doing 30, one doing 120. And there's me on a team call. You can see there with around 40 people. Now, the key point of this and how I'm allowed to go to beach clubs every day and spend thousands like I was doing here is delegation, right? Now, something that I don't understand, guys, is these people are on calls in the villa all day long, right? And Sam and I literally did around 2 hours per day, right? It's allowed me to get free time, really upgrade the physique. Best physique in probably SMA at the moment, if you guys are interested. But was delegation, right? So this is what our team, this is just the sales side. This is what it looks like, okay? So you got me at the top there. Now there's 2 managers who manage anywhere from 5 to 6 closers each, who then manage setters. So in total, if you include sales and service side, we've got a team of around 48 people. Now, the key with delegation, okay, is it has to be performance-based as well. So the manager's basically performance is based, right, on the closers, right? And then the closer's income is also based on the setters. So you see how there is that mutual codependence on each member of the team to perform, because you can't just give them SOPs and expect it to be happily ever after. That's just not how this thing works, okay? And just on a daily basis, the main role of these managers is checking that everyone's done their job. So they host the sales team's meetings unless something's going seriously wrong. They're uploading the leads for SMS, which is our main meeting source. They check in with the closers an hour later. They have setter team meetings, basically discussing what was wrong, reviewing sets, making sure all team members are active and on to date. They check in with our call confirmer, who slots in right around here-ish, just before they have the call there. Then we have closer check-in. So it's intense as fuck, right? If you're on our team, you're on that team. I always prided myself when I was managing the closers directly, I would give them multiple calls per day, not just chatting about business, chatting about general life, right? And that's how we do management. Now, one thing that I disagree about the big CM with, Chimo is obviously easy go, he's way more successful than I am, but he preaches doing everything yourself up until, around 50k per month. Right, and I'm about to explain why that's wrong, but look, I actually did that, okay, and I was a fat fuck. I was not happy here, right? I'm not a depressed guy, but I've never been, dissatisfied with, what I was doing in my life, particularly with this online business. But this was tough. Waking up every day around, 11ish, so like, half the morning's already gone. I like the mornings, but half of it was already gone. Then I would start work at fucking 1ish, end at 1, it's midnight, I'm on the snuzz, I'm wired off Red Bulls. It's not the life that you want to live. And this is what CM preaches. Okay, well, he doesn't preach the Red Bulls, but part and parcel of working that long. And delegation is just so important. And there's multiple reasons why, right? Firstly, I believe in sacrificing your margins until you're 50K. You've got to put those A players in place so that you can actually work on things that are actually going to move the needle. Okay? Secondly, hiring people for your ego is great. You need to be an egotistical guy to run a business. Also, you do need to be measured in how you're conducting yourself. But I do believe ego does help me in business. It makes me, act in a certain way that is lucrative for the company. And also, when you're doing everything yourself, you are the business. So every time I was doing these 150 cold calls per day when I was just starting out, every time I got the rejection, it did kind of demotivate me a little bit. Now, what I have done is I've removed myself from all of those points where I could get rejection, right? Not that I'm, couldn't do it, but it would fuck with my mindset. So that's what I've done. I don't take sales calls. I don't take anything like that. All I do is hirings nowadays. Okay. Now, the second thing I wanted to speak about is automation. So the two biggest hires that we've made in our company at the moment are AI guys. Now, look, I'm not going to pretend and, like all these gurus are doing nowadays and pretend I'm some fucking AI guy. Like suddenly I'm, starting an AI course. Like literally everyone, that's not even targeted at everyone. Literally every guru in the space right now is trying to do this AI automation stuff. Hold on. Getting a bit fucking hot here. Everyone's trying to do this AI automation stuff. Now, I've been trying to do it and as in learn it. But look, in reality, what I've done here is outsourced. I found these guys, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I found them because you guys should definitely have these people in your business. I wouldn't recommend learning N8N or make automations for the next half year because look, you can just get someone else to do it for fucking cheap. I've got third worlders doing it and they're great, they're super competent, and now we have a working AI system. This is an example of, one of the fucking 25 different make automations that these guys have done. We've put an AI appointment setting system. Let me show you what we have at the moment. So at the moment we have phone setters off the back of outbound SMS. We book at around 1 in 800 messages that have been sent. It's expensive as fuck. There's a ton of management. And, it's just a nightmare. We had around 20 setters at one point. You can see here how many we actually have. And it's just a nightmare. We have a whole setter group chat. And it's not something you want to be dealing with, in a long-term period. Now, there was another option. I know some other guys in the space do SMS setters. If I was you guys and I didn't have the money to invest in a person to basically build out an AI system, I would definitely do SMS setting where you're, typing out template responses. These Filipinos are way more smart than you actually think. That gets around 1 in 400, 1 in 450, way less expensive than actually doing setters. We pay our setters $40 for every one that books an appointment, and there's still a ton of management though. You're going to need around, one setter per account. Let's say you want to actually scale to somewhere like where we are, you're going to need a fuck ton of setters. Now, what we have implemented recently is AI SMS setters. So that gets around 1 in 300 because the responses are instant, right? From the AI, it's intelligent. We've given it a knowledge base. It keeps pushing. It's just doing things that a normal Filipino would never do. Okay, way less expensive because you're not paying actual people, and barely any management. So I highly recommend going in and having a look at that. Now, how did we do this? So I needed someone who can build a make.com automations. Where am I looking? Third worlders, okay? And where am I looking in specifically for them? On the big five. So Online Jobs PH, Fiverr, Upwork, People Per Hour, and Indeed. This is a new one. Highly recommend it. I've got my current guy from here. I believe Sam got his server-side guide from here as well. Now, what we have now is we have a native AI which actually goes ahead, listens to them, and actually follows a script from a knowledge base that it drafts answers from. I can't waste all my time, doing that. Put out this simple Google form funnel. Within 24 hours, I had 50 applicants to this automation specialist. Now, what you can't see here is I had another one below, which was basically submit a Loom video or a Google Drive video of a make automation that you've done, summarizing how you've done it. I interviewed 10 people, picked out this super solid Malaysian guy who now builds AI builds across the company for a fraction of the price that you guys are thinking. Not going to tell you what's a good price because, I'm not here to give out free information. I would say DM me on Instagram if you've got any questions, but I don't really want to answer your questions. The only thing that I can offer you guys, just before we go on to the last point, is if you are interested in the closer position, please do apply at williamhowe.com. Don't need any experience, OTE 4 to 7 per month. There's intense management, there's a great culture, and yeah, we'd love to have you on board, so go ahead and apply at williamhowe.com. Okay, now, last point about culture. So when I was in the south of France, I was sitting there with all of these agency owners, particularly, I'll take my friend George, he just started posting on YouTube again. He does 120K a month and he pays his employees 5,000-10,000 per month, right? He runs, I believe he does anywhere from 100 to 150 a month. We pay I think our top paid employees, I'm not going to say exactly, but it's nowhere near that, right? Now, obviously there's a million ways to get rich, but what people don't understand is the power of this third world talent. I firmly believe that my ops manager could build a better agency than most of you guys watching this. And you're going to think, oh, no, surely not. Surely not. He's from the Philippines. He can't outdo me. Yes, he can. The amount of intelligence and grit and hard work that these guys are willing to put in, and we've seen it in our company, is incredible. So do not fade them. But how are we keeping all of these people on lower salaries than we might be liking? Well, the main reason is the culture. Okay, we have got a great culture of intense management. We've got 48 staff at the moment, and yeah, sure, a lot of them are third worlds, and you definitely should employ that. But one of the key methods of how we're able to do this is giving them empowerment and autonomy. So giving them influence over our company decisions. Getting them to build out stuff that's going to help the whole team. People love that, right? They love that. And that is what is, letting us retain all of our talent, because I fucking hate losing talent, because, they feel like they're wanted here. They feel like they're moving the needle, and they are moving the needle, which is great. I always had this mindset of, oh no, let me do this, it's important. But actually, in reality, if you give one of these guys who wants to prove themselves, they will work day and night making the best spreadsheet for tracking that you could ever think of. So yeah, definitely autonomy is one of the key ones, as well as an intense management. I showed you earlier, how intense our management process is. Look, our closers are getting rung up at minimum 2 times a day. The setters have 5 meetings per day because they're, some of the most important people in our company. But look, that was it from me. If you want to close the role, apply at williamhowe.com. If you've got any questions about business and stuff, don't bother even DMing me. But yeah, you can DM Dan Spence, one of our partners. He's very solid, runs some TikToks. But yeah, that was it from me.